We're two hitchhikers. We met while hiking Mount Baldy with mutual friends, wasted no time, got engaged on a frozen alpine lake, got hitched, and have been adventuring together since. We're embarking on a new adventure of living big in a tiny home. Let's see how this goes.
Adventure awaits.
Autumn has definitely arrived along with another baby calf. She's only a few hours old here and already walking about. Well, good morning. The sun is shining and it's nice and warm right now. It's been a chilly few days, a lot of wind, a decent amount of rain. And well, now that the sun is shining, got to make hay, right? And I don't mean that figuratively. I mean that literally, because we are working on some winter crops here. The reason why you plant some winter cover crops is to get your soil, either to amend it into a more healthy state or to maintain its healthiness. So I previously mowed this section here with the weed whacker and spread out some clover seed. And since we got so much rain, the grass has started to sprout a little higher. So I need to go in and take that down a little bit to give the clover a better chance to establish. And then over there in the round, the far half of it, I also cleared out with the weed whacker because that is where we intend to plant some winter wheat. I've got to get in with the weed whacker and cut that down a little bit more because that is where I still need to place the wheat berries so that they get established before we have our first frost. And aside from that, it's just working on the compost, cutting back the corn. I'm going to deadhead that because we harvested the last of the corn, excuse me. And yeah, this morning is just going to be landscape, yard work, farm work stuff. Well, even though the wind wreaked havoc on all of these sunflowers, we had a couple that looked like they were past the point of pollination, and you can see those black seeds inside. So I'm going to take the heads off of these, and we need to dry them. Some we will save for replanting for next year, and then some will actually roast and salt and eat. The sunflowers are actually my favorite flower. I love the fact that they're heliotropic, which means they follow the sun, or the plant follows the sun. The flower always faces east. It's always looking towards the rising sun. And I just think they're beautiful and happy, and they're great for pollinators, and they provide so much nutrition. You can see this one here. This is one of the big heads that the wind toppled over. This one is not ready for seeding. This had a ton of pollen on it before the windstorm, and it just wasn't ready. So because that pollen didn't do its job, these seeds were not pollinated, so they're ready, but the flower had died. So this is going to be compost. So what we're doing here right now is we're preparing this section to plant some winter wheat. And we have these big tufts of grass that is difficult to remove manually. So we don't want to till it and we don't want to disc it. We just want to dislodge these tufts of grass. That way we can just pull those out and then go ahead and cast our seeds that way. So this is going to help us speed up the manual process just a little bit. You just lodged it. There's another big one there.
I know.
Right here.
Yeah. Oh my God, this thing is huge.
You're like the ultimate javelin.
Many thank yous.
Oh, come on, that's just a little pebble.
This is just a pebble. Blades.
And it was just sticking out, just like 4 inches.
There you go.
All right, well, we intended to plant our winter wheat with as little earth disruption as possible, meaning we didn't want to till it and we didn't want to disc it. We were hoping just to remove these tufts of grass manually. However, that proved to be too difficult to do because these root balls are quite dense. So we thought, well, let's just go through with this piece of equipment, and what that's for is basically pulling up or dislodging any rocks that are embedded in the earth. So we're finding more rocks than we thought were here, which is, I guess, you know, it's a good thing to pull them out. But we're also finding that this is just not going to work. We're just kind of damaging more than we should be at this point. So it's better just to use our neighbor's tractor. Hopefully we can borrow it and disc this in order to just make it ready to plant that winter wheat. So yeah, it's unfortunate because, like I said, we didn't want to disrupt the soil, but it looks like this maybe is hopefully the only go round where we have to do this. But right now the immediate thing is to move that rock, and then we'll see if we can get our hands on the tractor, hopefully today, maybe in the next couple of days.
So, can you hold it?
Yeah.
Now stand on this one. Get it?
Yep.
Be
With
like,
my floppy boots.
I was thinking it was just gonna catapult you. And it's like,
It's a cartoon. Now we need a third person.
Get it?
I need to step back first.
Yeah. Stupid.
Tilling, disking, and uprooting the earth tends to expose buried weed seeds and adds to the likelihood of erosion and nutrient loss. So we were hoping to work with the existing grasses and then incorporate our small-scale crop within it. However, we're not having success here.
Okay, well, our neighbor's tractor is available to us. However, they don't have a disc. They just have a tiller, but it's a micro tiller. So hopefully this will work out. Anyway, I just dropped Ruben off. He's gonna come back on the tractor, and I'm passing the little cows. All right, so we've had to make another change of plans. The idea was to plant the wheat in this section, but because these rocks are so massive, we're just having a tough time, and we really don't want to break our neighbor's equipment, especially. So, I mean, these boulders are massive just because they're so close to this reef rock. We call this Marmot Mountain because these are all rocks that actually used to be in the pasture that I'm looking at. They have been moved out, but there's still tons of boulders in the area. So we are moving the location of where we're going to plant the wheat, but we're going to do this pass through with their forks that only go a few inches deep, but it'll lift out any potential rocks that are still in the area. That way, when we come through with the micro tiller, we're not going to damage that. So lots of steps to this, but I am sure glad that we just have neighbors that are letting us use their tractor, because doing this manually, yeah, we'd have to buy like a couple of ox, or I mean, we're mules. We could do it too. Just take us forever.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna break up the soil and dig out as many rocks as we possibly can. What we were using before was not gonna work at all.
Now that we removed what we think are all of the volleyball size and larger rocks, we switch the attachment to till the soil, which will help to break it up, loosen it, and make it easier to cast the wheatberry seeds. There are still some small sized rocks in here, but they're typically less than the size of a tennis or golf ball, which the tiller can handle. Time to take the tractor back and cast those wheatberry seeds. Our neighbors let us borrow this handy seed caster. When calibrated to the seed size, the hand crank enables an internal wheel, which helps to give a more consistent seed cast. Now, with old-timey farmers, they don't necessarily need this, but with our newbie luck, manual casting would end up with bald spots of wheat come springtime. After a little gentle raking of dirt over the cast seeds, it's now time for some rain. Or sprinklers. Why are we planting wheat? Since we bake and cook so much around here, we'd like to focus on growing our own food as much as possible. That's part of why we moved up here. This is another small step in that direction. Plus, it can also be used for future feed and hay that we might need. And on a small scale, and grown with other crops, it also helps to support the local ecosystem. And now it's time for a little update on that big solar battery system project.
Okay, so what is Ruben doing? Ruben is rebuilding the battery that he built because he didn't do it right the first time. I burnt up the battery management system because I didn't have the batteries in the correct orientation for the BMS to work. So for me to do it correctly, I have to have series and parallel at the same time. Not gonna get into it, but this is how it looks. 2 batteries in parallel and then connecting them in series with these bars. And yeah, thank you, Tiny Shiny Home. Here is going to complete the circuit for the 48 volt battery, but all the batteries are gonna instantly equalize. So it's gonna be like a zzz. Oh, thank God. It's already equalized. So all I need to do now is just connect this right here to that. And then we got ourselves a connection. All right, good. So now all I need to do is put this right here, like that. And we got ourselves a complete battery. So what we're going to do is test the voltage on each cell. Each cell is 2 150 amp hour batteries. Each one is at 3 volts. So 2 in series should still be at 3 volts, but it's going to be 300 amp hours. So we're going to be testing for voltage on each circuit, then it should add up to 50 volts. So, excuse me. Okay, so we're going to go to 1, okay, 52 volts, 46, 26, 23, 3. Cool. Hooray. Thankfully, this is the scariest part. And once I get this scary part done, it's going to be the next scary part, which is plugging it in and then going just all over again. And I don't want to spend another freaking $700. They're so painful. Actually, let's put this in a safe spot. Let's go down. No touch.
I was going to say, that really looked like spaghetti at the wall. So we still don't have power on the full lithium battery setup. So Ruben has been working hard on this as he can, but now we have to flip everything back over to running the power on the truck batteries at this point.
See. You see it?
Yeah, it lit up, and now that's green.
Yay! We got power.
It just needed a minute.
Yeah. Cool. We're good. We got 48 volts. So that's enough for the refrigerator to be on for the night, but we won't have juice in the morning. So, but we'll live with that. We'll let it do that. We need to get the refrigerator back on. It's been off the entire day.
Cheers to one heck of a stressful day, but a very good weekend.
Yes. Cheers.
It's amazing how much snow is on that mountain. That just means it's gonna be a cold day.
Definitely gonna be a wet.
Well, family, that wraps up what we got done this week. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.